So guys, don't you think it's amazing when we see every single player in this position, all the past champions, seeing these 1, 2, 3 fingers of the glove hand here? Don't you think it's amazing that this isn't a position that we're all trying to get into all the time, like when we're playing golf? The reason we need the position here, right, and the reason we see an amateurs sort of around, somewhere around here, the reason we need this position is so that when we bring in an angle, a great angle for your shaft lane compression to stop standing up. When we bring in an angle, we need to be able to square it up, and that's how it looks here. So this move here, this rotation, there's always going to be rotation here in the swing. This will actually help. This actually causes movement in your downswing. Once you have rotated your hands here, it'll start around about here on the way down, right? Now, what we're seeing with amateur golfers is we see them casting, because casting the club helps them square, so they flip. So they can't handle the angle because they don't really have the hand motion here. Sometimes it's worse, sometimes it's here, but they don't really have enough rotation, so they flip to rotate, pause, and stand up and get around this area here. Now, if we have the correct hand motion here, we can handle more angle, and from here, that last split second, I can get the hand, I can release the club, pass my body, and I can get this hand motion. The bigger the angle that you have here, remember I said this, because we're going to have a look at that, the faster we have to rotate the hands and the fingers through the shot. Now what happens, unfortunately, the less angle that we have in this position here, when we're looking at moving through the golf ball, the less angle that we have here, the easier it is to hit fat shots, thin shots, lose speed, stand up on it, and we're having lots and lots of different issues coming down through the golf ball.
So people, the bigger the angle that you have here, the bigger and better the angle is here coming down, the more you will need to rotate your hands, wrists, and forearms to accommodate that. Right, so we can see he's got a great angle here, and for guys from here, you're going to get compression, shaft length, consistency of strike. This is the truth to amateur golf. Right, this is really, it's a little confronting. Right? I'm going to show you your own swing here in this clip. Now we see that the Handicap 6 has already started to flip, cast, lose angle. Why? Well, have a look at the release here. It's a little insufficient. It's not bad. Right? We see how the glove's on top. Okay, so he hasn't rotated the hands, wrist. He doesn't have this classic checkpoint where all the best ball strikers, all of them are in the world. This is what we need to be working towards. And see that the elbow here is a bit of a chicken wing because of the lack of hand and wrist forearm rotation. Now, I've been saying for ages, the quality of your hand and wrist motion through the ball, the quality of your release will determine the effectiveness of your downswing, guys. And it progressively breaks down, right? Moving through the levels, getting into impact with no shaft length, scraping along the ground, and the release breaking down. Now, we put together on WorldClassGolf.com a series called The Move of Millions, and the feedback has just been simply overwhelming. It's got nothing to do with bringing your right leg in, because people have to pause the right leg to flip and accommodate this flipping and squaring up of the face. Guys, let's move on. I've got a great drill later in the video. I really want you to see that, to see if you can really get into this perfect motion, because this is what takes you through the levels. I'm helping people online from all around the world. WorldClassGolf.com, guys, check it out. And let's get further on into a fascinating video here. Can't wait to share this one with you.
Okay. The thing is, we need to understand, now I've been showing people for that long on YouTube and WorldClassGolf.com showing this right wrist flexion, left wrist extension, but a lot of right wrist here, because the wrist actually promotes rotation, right? We're not rolling it over, but it promotes this rotation through the golf. We can also release it a little under, we can release it a little bit here, but it's this right wrist. However, there is also rotation. There's always going to be rotation in your hands and your wrists. And we have what we call, people, these separation points in the swing. Okay, one separation point is the hips moving laterally and the head's not. The other separation point, what we have is we're rotating from the hands and the wrists, but not from the tricep and the shoulder. We're separating, rotating without rotating this. Now, if you can do this, and you need to have a look at this, because if you can do this, you've got a great chance in the future to build up your angles. Now, if you haven't played junior golf, the reason I say that, juniors are great imitators. Most tour pros have played junior golf. They've hit a couple of million balls. Juniors have this innate ability to learn things just by seeing it, and then through the years, lots of practice, they have this hand motion. If you started a little bit later in life, you probably won't have this motion. So I'm going to show you how to work on these, because you need to chip away at your golf to get better, right? There isn't, unfortunately, a magic wand. And we're going to have a look at a couple of moves here to help you guys feel this. Now, here's your first drill. I want you to stand up and do this with me. All right, jump up off the couch, put the phone or the iPad there, and have a crack at this, right? Left hand pointing towards your left leg, right hand pointing away. Now, get your hands pretty close together, but what I want you to do is simply rotate your hands and your fingers without rotating your shoulder, or without having any internal rotation here. That means your elbow is going to brush your stomach here. All right, it's going to stay in here, your arms along, and we're just going to rotate. All right, so we're going to keep that shoulder back, and we're just going to rotate. And this just gives you a little bit of body awareness. Now, what I want you to do is just with your left hand. Okay, this is an interesting one. And what we're going to do is pretend that we're going to point the thumb at the ball, pretend we're gripping the golf club. Now, when we come down, I want this thumb to be pointed at a right angle when the logo's under the chin. I want to rotate the thumb to the ball. And just on this outside of the lead thigh, I want you to see these fingers, and your thumb's going to be pointed at the target. Now, this hand rotates quite quickly. So this is when you do it, your exercise or your movements slowly first. You get feelings and you get an understanding of what's actually happening. Hands opposite the thigh, rotating the thumb to the ball and rotating to here. And it's just on the outside actually of this lead thigh, you'll be seeing these fingers. And these are some of the drills you should be doing at home. You should be doing all the time, just moving the hands back and forth. Now, the last drill, we're going to grip the thumb. Same thing, we're going to bring the hands in so they're opposite the thigh. We've got a right angle back to the ball and here. And this is when you really start to feel what your body might do as well. You've got to be able to mimic these positions, imitate these positions to create change. I can't stress this enough. Just by slowly moving through these drills, these exercises, getting your reps in, will fire your nervous system and does make change. So guys, I've got a really good drill here for you guys to help free up your hand motion here and really get a feel of what great players are doing. You see these three fingers here. Now, what we're going to do in the drill is when we move through the golf ball, I really want to see still a large part of this arm here, but I want to see these three fingers from this side. Now, to do that, you might want to get your hand a little bit into the right hand in a little bit more of a flexed position here. And this is going to free up your swings. But there's always going to be a little bit of rotation in your hands and your wrists anyway. Let's have a look at this because it's really, really important. Now, it's important to understand what we're trying to achieve here, because if you do hit a couple to the left, that's actually a good sign. And I'll show you what you can do. And then you start to move your hands and the wrist closer and closer to what great players are doing. Now, this is fantastic. Now, we'll take like a little bit of a smaller swing here. Right, and I'm just going to stop through the ball, and I'll just illustrate this move here. Now you can see here what I've done. You can see these fingers here. Right, now I've still got my right shoulder down. The right wrist has moved into a little bit of a flex position here. Let's try it again. So when you can get into this end position, right, check this end position with these three fingers, all of a sudden we start to be able to handle some angle and build in a little bit of a slingshot style release, if you like to call it that. Now this is a great way to pick up your speed. All right, now with amateur players, what are we seeing? Sort of something around there. You know, it's not generally, they've got the huge chicken wings, but that really felt like a dead hand release for me. Now, if you hit this shot out to the left a little bit, what you're going to do, what's the natural tendency here? When I start to work on a little bit of rotation and separation in my hands and fingers, the natural thing is to pull up and pull out of the shot. I want you to really keep your shoulder down, and if you understand what I mean here, this gives you something to release against. This gives you the possibility to get your hands and wrists to move effectively without the tricep and the shoulder. This is the separation. That's one great way to prevent yourself hitting it left, because this is where great players are. They've got the side bend and the neck tilt. Now, the other area, when we look at it from this side, it's almost like a paintbrush move. Once we start to develop the hand and wrist motion, we're getting the club to really swoosh out more in front. Why I say that, it's because when we start to, if you've had a swing pattern like this, and then you start to release it properly, you will hit it left. But if you can get the club then to swoosh out more in front of you, if you can get the angle, because the swoosh is what then creates more angle, then you can build up your angles coming down. If you swoosh, or if you release the club too early, and we get the energy of the club back here rather than out in front, we tend to close the club. So people working on their release hit it left, because they've still got the energy here. The energy at the highest point of the speed needs to be more out in front. And Justin Thomas said that just a few years ago. He tries to get the club to swoosh out 30 centimeters in front of the ball. Now this swooshing effect of the club, this energy might sound really, really simple, but when you can get that energy, you're building up and creating better angles so that you can let them go. And this is the idea. So if you work on a little bit of this rotation, your hands, keep your shoulder down, keep the right side of your face down, and when you start to hit them left, it's a good sign, right? It's a good sign. And then you can start to really get the club to swoosh out more in front, and then we start to swing really from the inside out, getting everything to land. So hi guys, if you liked the video, please consider giving us a thumbs up. It helps us reach more people. Thank you. In the right place, and this is how we create effortless power and just much, much better technique.
Voted Best Swing Analysis and Best Online Instruction by several independent surveys, World Class Golf Instruction is transforming thousands of golfers at every skill level. Do not miss out. This video platform has over 1,400 videos and 85 separate masterclass series. The most structured and detailed video platform ever created, improving golfers on average between 4 and 11 shots. Join the chat room and join the community of world-class golf instruction. This is golf instruction that you've never seen before. The proven PGA corridors, factual evidence-based material. Unleash your true potential with the cutting-edge swing analysis technology. Experience the thrill of progress with the state-of-the-art practice programs and specialized golf fitness plans. Best information available.